Richards. I know you're probably saying, Courtney, just get to the part about the island, but it is important that you know the people involved because of what their occupations and hobbies were. So Gerald was a PE teacher at St. Joseph's Catholic School in Port Huron, Michigan. Long before he ever met Frances, he was a child predator. He once got in trouble and was charged with child molestation for groping his young male students. He was caught holding their private areas, but he said it was to measure them for a jockstrap. And this is concerning for a lot of reasons, but also because he was able to hide who he was really well. When all of this was going on, he was married and had a young child himself. He described himself as a master magician and would perform free of charge at schools and churches. And he came from a well-respected family. His own dad was a police officer, so he was virtually untouchable. Gerald eventually got into and made contacts within the CP industry while working for an adult bookstore. During his time there, he learned how, in his words, profitable it was. So he left and he created his own mail-order CP business. He would recruit hundreds of young boys with troubled backgrounds and would film, produce, and sell the abuse they suffered. He had over 600 customers, which included well-known and prominent businessmen, and they all said they preferred the youngest boys that Gerald could offer. Fast forward to 1974, and this is when Gerald and Frances officially meet. They would begin traveling together and finding young boys in various ways, usually through creepy motel owners. Frances introduced Gerald to North Fox Island, and then 1 year later in 1975, they created this fake organization called Brother Paul's Children's Mission. And together they advertised it as a charity that provided services to young children with reading problems. They said they would teach them how to read, counsel them emotionally, and provide classes in physical fitness. On the outside looking in, it seemed like this great opportunity / self-improvement group specifically for troubled boys. It was tax exempt, and all parents had to do was pay an $85 fee for their child's 6-day stay on North Fox Island. Hundreds of young boys would then be flown out by Frances's private plane to the island. And once there, away from anyone they've ever known, and now with no way to escape, then they would be filmed performing sex acts on camera, on themselves, on other adults, and they were even forced to do disturbing things to the other boys, all while being filmed. And just when you think it couldn't get any more disturbing, it does. So Frances and Gerald had a CP publication, which, like I mentioned, involved some pretty high-up people with money and power. But the two men would then invite their wealthiest customers and subscribers of the publication to the island, where they would repeatedly SA these boys. What's incredibly terrifying is the fact that Frances was trying to establish the mission / charity as a child welfare agency, so that the states and federal government would subsidize them. So all while these little boys were thought to be receiving the help and guidance of a lifetime, in reality, the island and this fake mission was a CP ring.